In the sun-drenched coastal town of Echo, nestled between the shimmering Atlantic and lush green forests, stood the prestigious King's College. A world of privilege, power, and old money. And then there was Chiamaka. To her classmates, she was one of them, her accent polished, her stories of European vacations vivid, her designer knockoff school bag blending in seamlessly. She was brilliant, witty, and moved with a grace that suggested generations of wealth. But behind the iron gates of King's College, Chiamaka's reality was a world away. She wasn't the daughter of an oil tycoon or a diplomat. She was the daughter of a woman who sold roasted plantains by the roadside. Her dreams as big as the sky but her pockets painfully empty. Chiamaka was a scholarship student. A ghost in a machine of privilege. Her performance was a daily masterpiece of deception, born not of malice, but of a deep, aching desire to be seen for her mind, not for the poverty that clung to her like the salty sea air. Every morning, she would walk for miles, changing out of her simple clothes into her carefully maintained uniform in a public restroom, transforming herself into the person she thought she needed to be to survive. Her real life was a secret she guarded with the ferocity of a lioness. Her carefully constructed world was a fragile house of cards. The fear of exposure was a constant hum beneath the surface of her calm demeanor. A single wrong word, a misplaced accessory, a chance encounter could bring it all crashing down. She avoided school events that required parental involvement and made excuses for why no one could ever visit her estate. Her friends, like the popular and impossibly wealthy Ada, would talk about their drivers and their summer homes, and Chiamaka would nod along, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. A silent prayer on her lips that they wouldn't ask a question she couldn't answer. One sweltering afternoon, escaping the suffocating atmosphere of the school's high society charity bake sale, Chiamaka wandered towards the less traveled paths near the coast. The air here was different, thick with the scent of palm trees and damp earth. And that's when she saw him, Tobi. He wasn't like anyone at King's College. His hands were calloused, his clothes simple but clean, and his smile was as warm and genuine as the afternoon sun. He was climbing a palm tree with an expert's ease, a gourd tied to his waist. He was a palm wine tapper. The son of one, to be precise. He saw her watching and, instead of the judgment she expected, he offered a friendly wave. Tobi was the complete opposite of her classmates. He didn't care about designer labels or family names. He spoke of the rhythm of the tides, the stories the trees told, and the sweet, fermented magic of palm wine. He was real. Dangerously, intoxicatingly real. Chiamaka found herself drawn to his world, a world where hard work was a badge of honor, not a source of shame. With Tobi, she didn't have to pretend. She could talk about her love for books, her dreams of becoming an engineer, and for the first time, she felt seen. Truly seen. As their connection deepened, Chiamaka was torn. The time she spent with Tobi was a breath of fresh air, a moment of truth in a life built on lies. But every laugh they shared, every secret she whispered, felt like a betrayal of the life she had so carefully crafted at school. The two worlds were on a collision course. What would Tobi think if he knew she was a fraud, pretending to be something she wasn't? And what would her King's College friends think if they discovered she was falling for the local palm wine tapper's son? The thought was terrifying. The annual King's College Cultural Day Gala was the event of the year, a night of extravagant displays of wealth and heritage. This year, the theme was local roots, a cruel irony for Chiamaka. Students were expected to showcase their family's contributions to the community. Ada was planning a presentation on her family's shipping empire. Others would speak of their lineage of judges and politicians. Chiamaka was trapped. Her lie had reached a dead end. The pressure mounted, the whispers in the hallways grew louder. People were curious about the mysterious Chiamaka and her reclusive family. The night of the gala arrived. Chiamaka felt sick with anxiety. She had considered running away, feigning illness, anything to avoid the inevitable humiliation. But then she thought of Tobi. She remembered his pride in his father's work, the quiet dignity in his calloused hands. She thought of her own mother, whose back ached from years documentos of bending over a hot grill to give her a chance at a better life. Was she ashamed of them? The question hit her with force. No. She was proud. The shame was not in her roots, it was in her hiding of them. Walking onto the stage, the spotlight blinding, Chiamaka took a deep breath. She didn't wear a fancy dress or show a slideshow of a corporate empire. Instead, in her simple, elegant Nigerian attire, she began to speak. Her voice, trembling at first, grew strong and clear. She didn't talk about a fictional estate or a make-believe CEO father. She talked about the smell of roasting plantains at dawn. She talked about the sacrifices of a mother who poured all her love and meager earnings into her daughter's education. And then, her eyes scanned the crowd and found Tobi, who had come to support her, standing humbly at the back. With a new wave of courage, she told them about the ancient and honorable tradition of palm wine tapping. She spoke of the skill, the connection to the land, and the joy it brought to the community. She spoke of Tobi and his father, not as poor locals, but as custodians of a culture, artisans of the land. She laid her soul bare, confessing her fears and her deception. She confessed that her greatest wealth wasn't money, but the love of her family and the integrity she was finally choosing to embrace. A stunned silence fell over the auditorium. It was broken by a single person clapping. It was Tobi. Then, another person joined in, and another, until the hall was filled with thunderous applause. Her classmates weren't looking at her with pity, but with a newfound respect. Ada, her wealthy friend, came up to her afterward, not with scorn, but with tears in her eyes, and hugged her. In that moment of vulnerability, Chiamaka had become more real, more powerful than her pretense ever allowed her to be. As she left the hall, hand in hand with Tobi, Chiamaka felt a lightness she had never known. The weight of her secret was gone, replaced by a profound sense of freedom. She hadn't lost anything by telling the truth, she had gained everything. She had found love, self-respect, and the understanding that her true value was never in the illusion of wealth, but in the richness of her character, the brilliance of her mind, and the beauty of her authentic self. The palm wine tapper's daughter had finally found her place, not by fitting in, but by standing out, proudly and unapologetically, as herself. Thank you so much for watching our story today. If you were moved by Chiamaka's journey, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that touch the heart. We'll see you in the next video.